Not made for the vertically challenged. Hi, my name is Leah. I'm originally from Japan. I was born and raised in Tokyo. My father is a Colombian immigrant who grew up in Queens. And my mother is a second-generation Zainichi Korean. So when I started reading your book, admittedly, I'm only about a third of the way through Pachinko.
Colombia appears in that book.
I'm sorry?
Colombia appears in the book.
I'm excited to get to that part. I'm sorry, I haven't gotten there yet.
I'm excited for you.
So one of the first things I thought about, like 3 pages in, was like, the people who need to read this are Japanese people. Should be one of the main audiences, who don't see Koreans as human. I feel like them being able to kind of experience this book and relate to characters that they may not see as someone that's relatable to them, I think that's really important. So I looked for a Japanese copy because I wanted my mother to read it. And I found that there is not a Japanese copy. There's not a Japanese translation of Pachinko.
Not yet.
Not yet. So
it's been purchased by 27 territories, I think, now. So it's going to come out by Bungi Shunju, and apparently it's in the works.
Interesting. Okay, so that was one of my first questions, was that in the works, and can I help you
But
make
most
that happen?
Zainichi Koreans have been reading it in Korean, and that's already out. And that's by a publisher called 문학 사상사.
So I think my original question was that in the works? That's great to know that it is. But what do you think is the main message that Japanese, non-Zainichi Koreans, but Japanese folks, what message should they be getting from your lectures, your works of writing? How can we bridge that gap between Japanese and Zainichi Koreans through fictional writing?
Oh, Leah. I like your question. I think it's an important question because I believe in reconciliation and reunion. With all my heart, I do. And I believe that the only way we can really think about other people is through empathy, and that's hard to do. And one of the things that I really hasten all of us against is to tell people what to do. Mm-hmm. I try to create drama. I hope that you find yourself in the story. I sort of joke that my agenda in life is to make all of you Korean. Because I think that if I can make all of you Korean, that you would see that all of us are connected. But I think that being didactic doesn't seem to work. And I think that forgiveness is a difficult thing. It's difficult for everybody, especially for those of us who've been injured and for those of us who injure. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm saying something that's very Christian. Whether or not people like that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I'm really angry about a lot of things. So sometimes I'm not in a position to forgive. I'm still mad. But I tend to work it out through my drama. But in terms of a message, I don't think I have a message about the Japanese. I do think that what I have tried to do is to be honest about the history. And that's the reason why I do so much homework. I do a lot of homework because even though I may start out with a position of an argument, I often find that my argument is wrong in the face of evidence, in the face of reality. And this goes back to the question of reality corrects preconception. There are many Japanese people who are suffering in Japan today because Japan has a myth of being a monolithic nation, which it is not. As you know.
I am proof of that.
And you're proof of that. My husband is half Japanese. My son is a quarter Japanese. So clearly, I think it would be preposterous for us to think that Japanese people are evil. It's almost like saying that anybody's evil if they've had any kind of colonial history. And that's silly. But what I do think is evil, because I believe in the existence of evil, is dishonesty about one's history. So I think that if we are honest about history, then we can begin to consider reconciliation.
Thank you for your work. I look forward to reading it in Japanese too.
Thank you.